Hello and welcome to Go, my favorite sports team, the only podcast that you need ever in the world of sports. All other ones can go be buried. Ah! You gonna watch TV? You're so bored already. You just gotta turn.
It's the second monitor, so I can share stuff with you.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, Tyler here is so bored he turned on the TV because he just can't take it anymore.
This TV isn't broken, unlike the one we broke a couple episodes ago because we interviewed the guy and he tripped and it completely shattered.
I want to legally disclaim that we did not break that. That was not an admission by the stranger who walked into the podcast studio that I do not know. I had nothing to do with that, and it wasn't my fault, and no one could possibly blame me for anything, ever.
It's on them to maintain their concentration on what they are doing, and as they are walking, it is not our fault that we happen to be on the other side of the phone. I believe the person operating the body of mass that got into some sort of collision or damage-causing event
is the person whose body of... What did you say?
Operating the body of mass.
What does that even mean?
I was body of mass meaning vehicle, person, their own body, their truck, whatever it is.
Their body of mass.
Their body of mass.
Damn, girl, you got a crazy body of mass. That's Tyler's pickup lines at the club.
Not at all, but
you got to be careful when you're operating your body of mass around.
That's what the ladies are supposed to say. Dang, that's some huge body of mass you got there.
You must go to the gym with that kind of body of mass.
Yeah, you mustn't be a sports guy with that body of mass.
What a crazy body of mass I got. You want to see it?
It's a nice and toned body of mass.
Anyway, if you got a nice body of mass, keep it to yourselves.
Unless somebody requests your body of mass, then consider sharing. Maybe.
We don't need to give this much minute details on how to live your life. You do whatever you want with your body of mass.
With consent.
Make sure you have your own consent.
Yes. But anyway, this is Go, my favorite sports team. I don't know if that was even said in the intro.
It was.
Okay.
I said, welcome to Go, my favorite sports team.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I'm Tyler. That's Mark. We're your hosts. It's good to have you back, though. I have genuinely missed you in the most human of sense, not just recording, but genuinely over the last few weeks.
It's been a little difficult on my end. Just like so many things that need to get done. And I'm only one person that can do it. So thank you, Tyler, for picking up an episode without me. I really appreciate that. But yeah, there's been a whole lot going on, and one other thing that I can't talk about. And so it's all getting there, but we're working through it.
Yes. Yeah. And hopefully taking care of whatever needs to be taken care of as per usual.
Yep.
But anyway, did you hear, this is important. Did you hear about the Wiener 500?
I did. I watched it.
You did?
Yeah, I watched it.
I did not watch it.
You didn't watch it?
I didn't know about it until
over
afterwards.
Here doesn't even know about the Wiener 500. Yeah, you didn't see the Wiener 500?
I did not see the Wiener 500.
The announcers at the Wiener 500, usually when they do a very serious non-parody event like the Wiener 500, you have announcers who are probably in the industry of whatever field it is, in this case racing. And I don't know if they were official, but they were very good. I don't know if they wrote all their jokes beforehand, but really, really... like really funny stuff. And then there was a crowd there, and then there was drama. One of the Weenie Mobiles blew up right before the last lap of 2 laps.
The engine blew up?
Oh, well, it was billowing smoke, so that dog was cooked, you know what I mean? I think they even made that joke, but yeah, so I'm pretty sure it was staged. I mean, it was very serious.
It was very serious.
Oh, sorry, I'm getting ahead.
You're reading ahead on the notes.
Apologize. Bleep me out.
Yes.
Censor me.
Blow him up. Ah! Like the Weenie Mobile, so he's just smoking, and it's all for a thematic effect. I've been watching One Piece, and that made me just think of Smoker, because I just got to that episode.
I'm not watching One Piece, no.
That's fair.
Aren't there like 10,000 episodes?
Yes, I'm on episode 30 or 40 something.
How many are left?
A lot.
Oh my God.
It's a slow process, and it's usually on in the background while I'm doing other work. So I'm like half watching.
Yeah. No thanks.
But anyway, Weenie 500 happened.
Weenie 500 did happen. Yeah.
Took place on May 23rd. and it was before the Indy 500.
Mm-hmm.
And it's had 6 Wienermobiles face off, each representing a hot dog style from a different U.S. region.
Mm-hmm.
Were any of them a cheese coney?
No.
Then they fail.
Mean, there might have been a cheese one there, but it just wasn't called a cheese coney.
Skyline, buy one of the Wienermobiles, make a cheese coney mobile.
Okay, so a cheese coney isn't necessarily about the cheese; it's a chili dog, right? So I think there was
like a chili dog.
Let me look up what cars in the weenie. This is the stupidest Google I've ever done in my life. Do you have it written down?
No, but this was the first time all 6 Wienermobiles were in one place at the same time in over 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I got it. It's the Chai dog, which is Midwest dog.
I do have it here. I'm
chili
stupid.
Dog. New
Chicago
York dog,
dog,
slaw dog, Sonoran, chili. Oh, chili dog is there.
Chili dog represented the South, though.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. South is known for chili.
Correct, but that's a different type of chili than Skyline.
It's true, yeah. They don't like Cincinnati chili, even though, I like both. They're for different purposes.
They're different tastes, yeah.
Yeah. You have different chilies for different moments, and anyone thinks that you only need one type of food for one type of occasion, you're either weighed or you don't have an expanded palate, so you're weighed.
I know some other people that actually might be pickier than Wade, which is kind of crazy.
Picky. Evan's very picky.
So is Patrick.
Patrick's picky?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not there are some things that I definitely do not like, but I'd like to think that I do try various foods.
Yeah. I have a couple food categories that I'm weird about, like peanut butter. I like peanut butter and jellies. I like chocolate peanut butter cups, but I don't like peanut butter like mixed directly with ice cream. If it's in a chocolate peanut butter cup, I'm okay with it.
I think it's too cold.
Yeah.
It's too tough.
Well,
it's in ice cream.
It's like the consistency of it and the flavor. I don't know why. I'm not a big fan. And I hate peanut butter cookies.
Peanut butter cookies? Oh, I wouldn't think that would be too much different than a Reese's. Because if it's frozen, the oil is what keeps it creamy, right? So the oil solidifies and it gets kind of powdery if it's frozen.
Correct.
But I think with a cookie, it would be...
But it's like mixed in with... It's basically like a sugar cookie, but you put peanut butter in it. And it's just like I don't know. For whatever reason, having a cookie and I want a cookie and I get a peanut butter cookie, I'm just upset. And I don't like it.
All right. Ooh.
It's a weird thing. I'm just weirdly picky about how peanut butter should be consumed. Okay.
I really haven't had that much peanut butter in a long time because of Ethan. I mean, occasionally, but most of the time I've found now that I like sunflower butter way more.
Sunflower butter is really
it's
good.
really expensive because sunflowers of getting it enough quantity.
I mean, you're looking
to fill
at
a jar.
Tiny seed versus a big legume.
So you need a ton to make a jar. And so I like sunflowers in general. They're my favorite kind of seed or legume, or I think seed. But they're my favorite. They're really good for you. And I just, if I get a jar of them like dry roasted, just pound that all day long. It'll be great. But sunflower butter is by far my favorite of the alternative peanut butters. It is great. It's a little runnier in the ones that I've got, but the flavor is so nice because I love sunflowers.
Well, if you get natural peanut butter, it's also still has that oily.
See, I like Jif.
I am too. I grew up on it.
I know it's
Is that
bad.
a Cincinnati thing?
I don't know.
Growing up with Jif peanut butter?
Where's Jif from? I don't know. Where Jif peanut butter from? I'm pretty sure it's got to be like a Midwest at least kind of popular thing. But Jif is just like it's Gennaro corporate peanut butter. But damn if I don't like it. The thing about it is though, when I realized that peanuts aren't a complete protein, that's when I started to think all this labeling where it says, oh, it's got 7 grams of protein. And it's like, well, technically.
How are we measuring grams of protein?
Yeah, it's because if you, of the essential amino acids, it's a little bit of science thing. If you have a spectrum of the essential amino acids, which are amino acids that your body cannot synthesize, right? So your body can take any protein source and make it into the kinds of proteins that it can and that it needs, but there's a list of essential amino acids that you can't synthesize. And if you are deficient in any of them, it's a zero-sum game. You need the equivalent amount of the proportions that you need of all of them. And if anything has 0, then it can't do any of them because it needs all of them. And so it breaks them down into other ones.
Yeah, and it's essential not just for building muscle, it's for building all cells within your body, building new cells. And
every cell's made of protein. Everything in you is made of protein.
Yes, because deoxyribonucleic acid, you have RNA, which I forget how to say it, but those are made up of ribonucleic acid. But those also have a need for the protein strands.
Yeah, it's all based on proteins. Even the Gattaca is they are just proteins, because protein is just like an assembly of there's a specific rule for them, but basically it's just molecules that are biologically compatible. They're complex structures that take a lot of energy to fold into those compatible shapes. And the plethora of and this is important for sport knows, you do need to know something about science and anatomy in your own body, because you take your tub of protein powder that you don't know where it's from, and you haven't looked up the science
whatever
data
extra
tables.
Chemicals are in there.
Could be mercury or kind of lead in them. You need to look at the analysis, the independent analysis of those supplements that you're taking, or else you could be having a lot of heavy metals in your stuff because you're not getting it from a good source. That's why it's important to know why that's bad.
Or if you're just putting on weight because you're not actually building the structures that are necessary to build muscle, and instead your body is then taking those uncompleted structures and converting them into body fat.
Exactly. And that can happen if you have a disproportionate amount of essential amino acids, because then all the benefit that you get out of the essentials that you're getting is minimized by how little of the one you're losing out on. So it's not a flat thing because you need them in different proportions, but you still need them all. So you need to make sure that this is why vegans can get in trouble, where they'll be thinking they get their protein, but they're not, because they're not getting the right types.
They also struggle with iron. So unless they're taking proper measures to supplement in those areas, they are going to be missing essential ingredients the body needs.
Yeah.
Which is why, like, I understand the reasons people are vegan. I'm not going to shit on vegans, but they also need to be smart about their nutrition.
Yeah. It's harder. They like, it's hard mode, and that's kind of the way you choose to live your life, and that's up to you. But you just need to be smart about it. Like, these things you need to understand.
How do we get to this from the Wiener races again? I don't remember. I don't know. But
peanut butter take.
It was the weird take.
Yeah.
But anyway, apparently the dogs, like you said, Midwest was represented by the Chai dog or Chi dog. The East had the New York dog, which is, I guess, just a classic hot dog. The Southeast had the Slaw dog. The Chili dog represented the South, and the Seattle dog represented the Northwest, and the Sonoran dog for the Southwest.
I don't know what the Sonoran is, but I've had the Slaw dog type thing, because in South Carolina, there's a place by where Amy grew up. I think it's like Jack's Cosmic Dogs. Really great hot dog stand. They had all types, but their specialty was like this coleslaw dog. Very good. I'm not a big fan of coleslaw, but it was very nice.
There's an occasional good coleslaw. There was one place in Colorado, in Boulder. I went out there once, and they had a kale slaw, and I had it the one time, and I was like, this is the best like version of slaw I've ever had. Like, I've had coleslaw, which is your generic with cabbage and usually mayonnaise and some carrots and stuff like that. But they did something with like orange in it or something. And then I went back to the same place that had it during that time. They never made it again. And I was so disappointed.
Damn.
Yeah. So that's my first news story. I kicked it off.
Oh, yeah. Well, I got tons. I mean, we have the one that we missed because we weren't, I mean, who are we to call ourselves the Caitlin Clark news story without talking about the most important Caitlin Clark development of recent history?
The crazy collision and flagrant fouls.
It's insanity what was taking place there, because if you watch the replay, and I'm hoping that the other team did, because I get teammates rushing to another's defense, but what were they watching to tackle Caitlin Clark after the other person scratched her eyes out, and they didn't see that the other person instigated the shove first and then pushed, and then everyone's like, oh, get her, and then push her to the ground. And it's like, a lot of people are saying like, oh, they're hurting their golden ticket, and it's like, whatever, you can look at it that way, but I'm like, this is just stupid. This is just not using your eyes to do anything. You have this bias in your head that I don't know why. I couldn't understand that, like the jealousy they feel, but they fucking knocked her to the ground, could have injured her, like
in multiple ways, like permanent injury, especially if you hit the eye right.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, you scratch the cornea, that's That's really hard to repair.
Even if you go beyond scratching the cornea or deeper, like if they actually puncture and the eye leaks, the chance of saving that eye it's
almost impossible.
Yes.
We don't have the technology to replace an eye yet.
Like,
you need a corneal transplant, and even those are rare that they would actually work for certain things, It's tough.
Well, and on top of that too, like if your immune system gets into your eyeball, your eye has its own bioecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
If your immune system gets in there, all of a sudden it clouds all of your fluid within your eyeball. That in itself can cause permanent blindness.
Mm-hmm. I've heard of that. I wasn't 100% sure if that was people, I think, blew it out of proportion. They were like, if your immune system finds out about your eyeball, it will eat it. And I'm like, I don't think that's true.
I don't know about eating it, but it does create a cloud. Basically the fluid in your eye can permanently become cloudy and therefore making you blind.
Yeah, because I think the reason I thought it was a misnomer is because, or people not thinking it right, because your eyes are a vector for infection like crazy, because it's just a pure mucous membrane. So your body would be protecting it unbelievably strongly.
Correct, on the outside.
Yeah, so on the outside, it's like totally fine because there's a lot of immune response happening right on the surface of the eye, because if any germ lands here, it needs to die immediately, because it's like very risky to lose your sight or let anything get a chance at digging in there.
Well, and that's why dry eye is actually kind of scary if you're to a point of chronic dry eye, because that moisture is what helps keep debris and bacteria and stuff out of there, because it pushes it away and flushes it out away from your eyeball. Yeah.
Anyway, Caitlin Clark got her eye scratched, and then the entire other team shoved her to the ground, and then one of her teammates pulled the other player who started it all down to the ground, and then grabbed her hair, and then there was a big tussle.
And the coaches also held back other players. It could have potentially been a bench clearing thing.
It probably should, honestly, but it was all comes down to, I believe, bad officiating.
Yes, and that's been a massive thing that's not just been talked about Caitlin Clark's coach this season. It's actually been talked about by every coach and every player in the league.
Yeah.
Is that the officials are not properly calling stuff, missing calls, and it's causing frustrations and escalation in the physical part of the game.
And I think like what it comes down to is when you start playing at the level that Caitlin Clark's gameplay is starting to demand of other players. I'm not saying that they're not capable of it, because clearly rising tide all ships is what's happening.
Yes.
Like, people are getting better in the WNBA and they're competing harder. They're pushing themselves more because they have a standard to meet. But the officials are slower to catch up because they've been officiating almost a completely different game before this. I'm not saying there haven't been fouls and collisions and fights and stuff like that, but it's happening at a more frequent and aggressive pace. And so they probably are finding themselves kind of like, not shocked, but it's like they're trying to play catch up on looking at everything. And it's like they're suddenly having to pay a lot more attention, and there's a lot more pressure on them being right all the time.
Well, and on top of that, the other issue too is you got to think about the financials of the WNBA, because the WNBA exists because the NBA made it exist. It still has not stood on its own feet in sense of revenue in order to pay players and have the staff and using the venues.
I believe after this year, that'll be interesting.
It will be interesting to see the numbers.
Yeah.
But that's a big thing. So the amount that refs can be paid to potentially be full-time officials and get proper training and do everything necessary becomes a whole other thing. As more and more teams are also added to the NBA, Golden State Valkyries' first season is this year, for example, which, by the way, is the first WNBA team, I think, to be estimated at $500 million in general value, market value.
You want some numbers?
Yeah.
You want some numbers from when Caitlin Clark started?
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I know. It's out there. This is why Caitlin Clark should be protected.
Okay. Since Caitlin Clark joined the league, average game viewer increase across the league, 300%.
Yep.
300%, starting from the draft where Caitlin Clark was drafted, which had 2.45 million viewers, which was a 374% increase from the previous year. Attendance in games overall in person is 48% across the league. That's 48% more ticket sales from 2023. The Indiana Fever is seeing specifically a 319% increase. Merchandising sales up 600%.
For those of you that don't know how percentages work, that's 6 times what it was. 600% is 6 times what it was.
All right,
there are people out there that struggle with math, okay?
Okay, yeah, all right, okay. Yeah. And 50% increase, which means if you had 100, you'd have half more, because 50% added on would be 150. Okay, whatever.
Yes.
I'd like to think they know.
I
know why you're making the disclaimer. Yes. I know why. All right.
Anyway, we know people that struggle with math.
Yeah. Sorry. Continue. I interrupted what you're saying with the statistics.
Oh, I mean, I was just simply saying that the stats clearly show the facts of, with relation to the current funding of where the WNBA started to where they are now moving.
Yeah.
And how that the officials, until they see the value proposition show up, they cannot have that cost increase for it to make sense. Yeah. Because the WNBA, no offense to all the women that are asking for more pay and everything else like that, was operating at a loss.
Yeah.
Period. They literally were operating at the donation, basically, of the NBA.
Yeah.
And the NBA itself and NBA players have been prominent proponents for promoting the WNBA before it's been able to stand on its own 2 feet.
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing to put a highlight in women's sports. Getting a professional league, especially in basketball, which is one of the biggest sports in the entire world, was huge. So, yes, we want to see the WNBA succeed, stand on their own 2 feet, have women get paid more for what they're doing, and also get the officiating and the staffing and everything necessary to make the game flow and protect players properly.
Yeah, it all makes sense. And so with the officiating, there probably will be competition to get other officials in, like maybe officials that are struggling to officiate NBA games will probably start looking down to, not down, that sounds insulting to the NBA, but just in terms of like the proportional viewers, like it's not insulting to say they're of lower viewership, but climbing. But there's a larger pool of of officials that are probably up in that level or even the collegiate level that would start to look at it where they wouldn't have looked at it as an opportunity before. So I think that there will be some changes in the officiating.
Well, even then, having that opportunity as a player, also, if you are not good enough to, say, be drafted into the NBA or WNBA, the opportunity to then potentially coach or officiate is still there, and having a program which allures them to it because they already understand the foundations of the game would be a huge thing to bring people into there that have the knowledge and also the athletic skill set and also the perspective of having played to understand when to let them play and when something needs to be taken care of and stomped down before it goes out of control.
Yeah. And so if these other teams can stop trying to target Caitlin Clark, then we will see continued growth because we're going to see more stars come out of the collegiate level, enter the WNBA, and it's going to get even better because it's great. This is great because then they're like, is this the new Caitlin Clark? You want those stories because it all starts from this. And I'm not saying the WNBA started when Caitlin Clark joined. Of course not. I'm not trying to discredit everyone else who has put in so much work into building the entire WNBA. But this is a nexus point for things to start to accelerate. And it's like, I'm not saying fix the game so that emotions don't run high. Honestly, it's good to have emotions run high. That's what competition is. And that's what drives people, because if they get pissed, then they can start to really motivate themselves to want to be better. And that's what sport's all about.
In other WNBA news, there has been a recent development now this is sports betting, but I think it's funny, in that a group of guys has been betting on Angel Reese to miss her first shot for a long, long time. And they've won for a long, long streak of just betting first shot miss from Angel Reese. Now, in that, some creator also tokened the phrase me bounce, that Angel Reese's majority stat on her rebounds are me bounce.
Rebounds to yourself.
Correct.
Yeah.
Angel Reese has since tried to claim that and trademark it when somebody else came up with it first in making fun of her. So she's trying to stomp out somebody who's making fun of her for her stat padding me bounds by trying to claim it herself for proprietary reasons. Now, it's interesting to see what development comes out of this. but I believe somebody else was already selling merchandise with Angel Reese Mebounds on it. So it'll be an interesting development, but it was a little bit of a different side story with relation to another person who is in the WNBA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I have not watched many games, so I'm not 100% sure what the landscape is for, the ranking, the pecking order of who is vying for the second place spot in terms of the WNBA. I know Angel Reese is there. I know
Angel Reese is nowhere near that. Her shooting percentage stuff, she got benched.
Performance.
Oh, notoriety.
Notoriety, yeah.
Angel Reese is up there because she actually has the most followers outside on social media.
Yeah, she's a talker. And, and that's not derogatory. Like,
no.
Some people are able to.
She's a character.
She's a character. That's what I meant, yeah.
Yeah, so she has success outside of the game of basketball in a way. So obviously with that amount of followers, that's going to be a value in some capacity to the WNBA. Now, for basketball fans, not as much.
Yeah, of course, not as much. But it is important. And honestly, Angel Reese has more followers on Instagram than Caitlin Clark now.
Yes, she has the most of anybody in the WNBA.
That will probably change very quickly. If I was back in the day when I used to watch like social media metrics and I would like track everyday changes. I bet if I went to one of those, like Social Blade, I think is it still around?
Social Blade, I think is still around. Yeah.
Social Blade. Let me look. I bet you look at the pace and you would start to be like, okay, let me look at it.
Well, there's an interesting thing to be said about that because Angel Reese probably cultivates and posts far more than Caitlin Clark does because Caitlin Clark has purposefully even said that she doesn't care for social media. And
that's good because I don't care for social media either.
I don't either, but I feel like I need to do it.
See, that's the trap. Yeah, you don't need to.
I don't have your success, Mark. I need my own success on that.
I didn't get the success from the gram.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Anyway, so
yeah, that was the end of that. Other than since you mentioned the gram, apparently Facebook has to sell Instagram because of antitrust law.
Did that actually go through?
It's supposed to. They have a timeline. It hasn't been officially done, but they have to.
There's a timeline for TikTok to shut down.
Well, that got extended another 90 days. Apparently, it's just it's ridiculous. Anyway.
Whose authority? I don't know.
We'll talk about that later.
Oklahoma City.
Oh, yeah. Winning the finals.
What a game.
Dude, also so sad.
I know. It was crazy. I didn't even know how many Achilles injuries has taken place in the playoffs in general.
Yeah.
And apparently 3 severe Achilles injuries.
Apparently 3 of them have had like the same athletic trainer, and he's warned all of them to not play.
Well, he's not very persuasive.
They played anyway. Well, I mean,
I don't think
all right, you're at the pinnacle of your career. You're playing against, this might be your only shot at winning the championship.
Oh, yeah.
Athletes are going to be athletes and want to play. So Tyrese Halliburton tearing his Achilles after his calf strain when he was told not to play by the training staff. It's disheartening. I feel for him so hard.
But he probably doesn't regret it because like he had to push himself as hard as he could.
Correct.
It's the last game. Of course you're going to do that, but this is what happens. Like you push yourself too hard. Because in all honesty, is it better to try for that whole game as hard as you can and then risk injury, or is it trying to pace yourself and try to just keep up?
But also,
I don't know.
How much is that due to the champion and of like organizations wanting players to play through injury? Like, because you have long seasons. I mean, the NBA season is an obscene amount of games before you even get into the playoffs. And you talk about football players, you talk about baseball players, all these players, they have to play through injury the entire season because you have a muscle soreness, you have this going on all the time.
True. The situation is not good for them, but I think it's easy to blame the organization because obviously they want more games, they want more money, and it's a pretty tough sport to play. It's not quite like football, but it's pretty tough, and they play a lot of games. But I know the
competitive spirit exists, and so you would play through.
There's some on the player because they would be of the type to like not even mention that it hurts because they don't want to risk anybody even trying to pull.
That was football players with concussions all the time. And it still happens today where players will go in, they're like, they got shaken up a little bit, but they're like, no, I need to play.
Yeah, it's is it not a protocol where if you get a concussion now, you're out of the game?
You are, but you have to, it has to be noticed. It has to then be sent to a tent, and then you have to not pass the test. So there's a lot of, there's multiple prongs to it where there can be failure still, because failures in everything, there's a margin for error.
Yeah.
And so in that line, if you have, like, maybe you're not that reactive to begin with because you want to be able to play through a minor concussion.
And also your brain's a little scrambled.
So your test, so you set it up to where you can pass the test easier because you're a competitive athlete that wants to compete.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of margins for error and choice issues and things like that can exist.
Yeah, I think it's a combination. The situation is not great. The entire industry is not really set up for it, but also there's some onus on the players to...
Majority is on the players, and I'm not going to disagree with that as an athlete who literally played post-kidney transplant when I probably shouldn't have, because it literally was a death risk, and I got my doctor to sign off of it to play college football post-kidney transplant. By the way, was not worth it. My coaches protected me. I didn't get to play the way I wanted to, and we lost every game my senior season. So do I regret it? No, because I got to live the life I wanted to, but at the same time, I also didn't die. So catch-22. Sometimes it's smart to think about your future and not just the present.
No. Well, also no. You know, I'm also one. There's certain points when people do need to risk something for.
I do agree with you there too.
Yeah, it's dependent. It's not always a guarantee, and it's hard to say which way. It's a personal choice. You gotta make that for yourself.
Yeah, and I'm the other cool thing. Despite his injury, you know, you get injured like that, you could go to the hospital. You could mope around in the locker room. He came out, stayed with his team, made sure checked in. Rooted for his team, was a phenomenal teammate throughout the entire process. So hats off to him. He also had a successful surgery. I did see that. So wishing him all the best and healing for the future.
Yeah, that's good. There's been quite a few advances in terms of tendon repair. So I think, well, you would actually know the most, right?
I haven't had to have a tendon repaired, but I know like the various processes. They can do tissue transplantation now exists.
Okay, that's good.
So a lot of times they can take different tissues from your body to transplant to that area and have it work and support. There's also cadaver donors, which is why I'm a big proponent of organ donation, because literally there's so much your body can give to somebody who's living beyond just life-saving, which there's a ton for. There's a ton for life-improving stuff, like cornea transplants. There's heart transplants, kidney transplants, liver transplants,
tendon transplants,
tendons, ligaments, all of that. And they're working towards actually having full cartilage transplants for like knee transplants if you tear your meniscus and stuff.
That's cool, yeah.
There's a lot of really cool stuff that's being developed, and more is being able to be done. When you're dead, you're not using your body. Might as well let somebody else take its parts and become the ship of Theseus.
Fair. I will live on.
I have a great news article. A new mom ran a 100K race and won. Now, this is an ultra marathon, which is a feat on its own accord. Runner Stephanie Case had an added challenge. She had recently given birth and needed to breastfeed regularly during the race. So Stephanie stopped at the 20, 50, and 80 kilometer checkpoints to feed her baby and jumped back into the race. Now, the race that she ran is the Ultra Trail Snowdonna race in northern Wales. Now, this is a grueling slog, about 6,500 meters or 21,325 feet of elevation gain.
Oh, I was about to say.
This isn't the distance. This is the elevation gain.
It's a lot of elevation.
And it includes running up the highest mountain in Wales and dealing with rugged terrain, not paved roads, and boggy fields.
Who brought her baby to the next stop?
That's what I'm wondering.
Is it a loop? Is it one of those where you're going up and down?
Her partner just running with the baby on her back.
You're doing great, honey. I'll meet you at the next
I'm just going straight up. You keep doing your switchbacks.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I imagine they drove to get there.
Could
but
they?
I
wasn't paved roads.
Well, they weren't running the paved roads. They were probably running trails, but that's probably why they chose the particular spots is that had access to general public and roadways.
I didn't know.
So, but her goal was simply to finish the race, as it was her first race since giving birth. But she was the first female finisher with a time of 16 hours and 53 minutes.
Damn. How long before had she given birth?
I have the article here. I don't think it tells me. Oh, she had to get special permission at the 50-kilometer stop with the stipulation that she couldn't receive any aid during that stop, because I think she had to go outside of the normal running path, the designated area.
Interesting.
It does not tell me how long.
I'm imagining it's not a week after.
Yeah.
So probably a little bit of time. But still
breastfeeding is like, you're talking, it's got to be months, not years.
Yeah. It's definitely not years. It's within the same year for sure.
Yeah. So she had been apparently training for this race when she realized she was pregnant and a couple other things.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Yeah.
More than I could do.
Stephanie Case. More power to her.
More power to you.
Incredible.
Russell retains Canadian Grand Prix victory as Red Bull protest is rejected. So Red Bull had lodged a protest against Mercedes' George Russell following the Canadian Grand Prix for... Let me go back to my actual thing. Oh, apparently they collided. No.
Yeah, like...
McLaren, Lando, and arrest? No, that's different. I don't know which one.
It could be a maneuver cutting off, some sort of rubbing or collision, something that was not in the competitive spirit of driving.
Okay. Apparently, while after that collision, there is a pace car or a safety car, right? There's a safety car driving being like, don't go fast. Woo. Red Bull protested saying that Russell was driving under the safety car or whatever that means. Probably like outpacing or something like that. Or Kevin being deployed. The stopping command, George erratically braked, allegedly driving erratically under safety car and display. Okay, under there is a safety car thing happening.
Yes, so it's like drive cautiously.
You're driving under that, but driving erratically under the safety car and displaying unsportsmanlike behavior by complaining that car one had overtaken under safety car conditions. The deliberation for this protest took 6 hours.
So I guess the argument was once the safety thing was raised, they contested that he had made a pass or erratic maneuvers that were both unsportsmanlike and against the rules with relation to the safety car blanket.
Yeah. Quote, during a safety car deployment, the driver of car 63, I'm assuming that's Mercedes, had braked unnecessarily along the back straight between turns 12 and 13, as a result of which car 1, which is following car 63, overtook car 63 and then dropped back behind car 63 after car 63 accelerated. So it braked, went past, went back. That's the complaint, I guess.
I guess because it was unsportsmanlike, or... Maybe both of those cars could be Mercedes. I don't know the exact designation of what those two cars were.
Yeah. I did not watch this.
The result of the deliberation, I assume,
was rejected. Everything was fine, but still taking 6 hours to deliberate and then getting an answer after that 6 hours is like, that's part of the controversy is like, why did it take 6 hours to come up with a decision?
I wonder if you take long enough, like if the jury takes long enough, they bring them free food.
Yeah, you might be right about that. You might be right. They might be
like, oh, this is an easy thing, but
yeah. Oh man,
look at the time.
Hungry. Our buffet is not good enough at our fancy Formula One nonsense.
Yeah, we want to. If we take long enough, Formula One will pay us in food.
Yeah,
we'll get a nice dinner tonight, baby.
Yeah. Or what's his video?
Okay, so. California State Championship. Okay. 16-year-old Clara Adams is stripped of her gold medal after she clearly won the California State 400-meter final.
Okay.
Now, this was due to a celebration after the race, and significantly after the race. It was nothing that I would say, would be deemed unsportsmanlike. I would not even say that it impeded on anybody else's ability to do their jobs. And we'll see what the TikTok shows. But she is obviously emotional because she got stripped of the title despite winning. So her celebration, evidently, it's an homage to another athlete. And you'll see it here in a second. She gets handed a fire extinguisher from her dad, and she sprays off her cleats like they're on fire. Now, this is an homage to another track athlete that took their shoes off and sprayed a small fire extinguisher on them, like, oh my God, I'm so fast, my shoes caught on fire.
Yeah.
They stripped her. See how it's not impeding anyone? It's not in the way or anything. They stripped her of her win. It's the same thing as, you remember that swimmer who got on the lane line and after the race and it wasn't affecting anybody and they stripped it of them?
Here's the other guy that's
here's the other guy
on the track.
Yes, on the track. Yes. I don't know if that was in the Olympic trials. I think it might have been the Olympic trials. Either way, it was a track thing. And it's Maurice Green. That's who the homage was for. And this is a problem because I understand if it was like getting in somebody's face and treating them like crap, or for instance, there was a track athlete that stabbed another track athlete after they lost to them and now is being indicted for murder. Yes, that did happen. There was no damage done, period. And it wasn't even like a industry level crazy big, like they didn't take it from the facility. The dad brought it. Like there's nothing to it. Her dad handed it to it, and the California Interscholastic Federation officials grabbed the 16-year-old and told her off for the stunt, which we saw in the video. And the verbal warning wasn't the end of the CIF officials' actions. They then stripped her of the championship title and banned her from competing in the next race. Yeah. There's a certain point where people need to get off of their pedestal of I have power and this upsets me, that this shouldn't happen. Yeah, period. This should never have been a thing. The athlete won. Mm-hmm. They didn't do anything to damage anybody. They caused no harm, and they got stripped of it for celebrating.
This is I don't know why this is politicized, but I look this up and you can see the discrepancy in titles where it's like teen stripped of track title after iconic celebration, which is like a fairly neutral title. See the shocking fire extinguisher celebration that got 16-year-old track star stripped of state title, and they call the video CFI officials didn't take too kindly, and it's like, it's just shocking fire. No, it's also not shocking.
What? Here's the thing. We have enough issues with officials not being able to actually do what they're supposed to be in officiating.
Yeah.
This is outside the realm of officiating. This is just being pedantic and being stupid.
It's just pointless. All it does is cause problems.
And you're talking about an adult taking away a kid's dreams and achievements. That's ridiculous.
I mean, probably the only saving grace is that anyone who actually matters in terms of like her future collegiate potential probably doesn't give a shit.
Correct.
If it was taken away, they're going to look at that and be like, I don't care if she got stripped. She was fast, so she's welcome.
She's a track star. She puts in the work. She won, and she deserves, the result of her winnings.
Yeah, it's not fair. It's stupid. It's asinine. There's no point to it. I wish I knew who the officials were so I could name them right here.
Correct.
But they're hiding behind their titles, and they're making these decisions because they didn't like that she won and was showboating.
Right.
Because they had an opinion, as opposed to the actual meat of the matter and the importance of the sport.
But here's my biggest thing, especially with track.
Yeah.
Track is not, yes, you're racing other people, but getting a PR is hype, period. A personal best, a personal record. You're racing against yourself. You're racing to improve against yourself. And if you can beat other people in the process and be the fastest, that's awesome.
Yeah.
There was nothing about that to me that was any insult to anybody.
Yeah. It's the official rule is worded as unsportsmanlike conduct defined as behavior that includes but is not limited to, they're going under that, is not limited to disrespectfully addressing an official, any flagrant behavior, intentional contact, taunting, criticizing, or using profanity directed towards someone.
I saw none of the stuff that they have listed at all.
No. And of course, the CIF is not responding to requests for comments, because of course they are not.
Yeah. Yeah. Either way, very infuriating instance. Still upsets me.
Yeah, it's very dumb. Oh, Oh, I got the executive committee of the CIF, which is the California Interscholastic Federation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, it doesn't list names.
Dang.
It just says no more than 13 members. That's... Oh, wait, members. All right. Naming names here. John Becker, President. Superintendent of Roosevelt Joint UHSD. Dr. Paula Hart Rodas, President-elect. Marty Bitter, past President. Members Terrence Barnum, Melissa Brewer, Simon Canales, Alton Nelson, Sandy Nugent, Doreen Osumi, Louis Rocha, Jeffrey Taylor, Dr. Erica Tejeda, Doug Williams. You're all members of that leadership committee. It all falls onto you, doesn't it? Well.
There's plenty of contact us if people want to throw up a roar.
We got a whole pipeline for it.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saving that for later, though. I'm saving that for later.
All right, fair enough.
Your turn.
I mean, I'm out.
Oh, you're out? All right, I got another one.
Mm-hmm.
The $2.7 billion NCAA settlement was approved. As a federal judge has approved the class action lawsuit settlement for college athletes not being able to earn money during college for playing sports, despite the schools making money off their athletes. Mm-hmm. This was the issue of pay for play and a whole bunch of other stuff, as the enabling of nil has since been allowed, which somebody yelled at me as the only person who calls it nil. No, that's anybody in the industry calls it. It's name, image, likeness. Starting this fall, colleges and universities in the NCAA's top division, aka Division I, will be allowed to directly pay athletes for the first time. Payments will be limited by a salary cap set initially at $20.5 million per school, and more than $2 billion will be paid out to former college athletes who were not allowed to earn money while they were in school. There's a whole slippery slope that we are currently in a trajectory for that I'll save for an episode that people have been calling for me to actually get out my essay about pay for play and talking about why this is an issue for the entire scope of education and how it ties into sport. But this is the official update as that was approved. In other news, Los Angeles Lakers officially sold to the same owners of the Los Angeles Dodgers for a record, I think it was $10 billion or something like that. Yep, $10 billion.
Just a casual 10 billy.
Yes.
10 billy.
Which is the first time in 46 years, or first time in a long time that the Lakers were sold. The most a sports franchise has ever been bought for, with the valuation at $10 billion. The family that owned it has owned it for a long time, so it's crazy that it was sold to begin with. Buss family, that's the family that owned it for a while. The Buss family will still keep a minority share of just 15% for a period of time.
Oh, just a piddly 15%.
And the Lakers had been owned by the Buss family since 1979 when Jerry Buss purchased the franchise from Jack Kent Koch in 1979 for $67.5 million.
$67.5 million. That's quite a return on your investment.
Yes. So the Buss family is officially sold, and they sold it to the Dodgers owners, which I believe is the Walter family. The intended sale to Walter was approved by the Buss siblings through a majority vote.
Good for them. Good for all of them.
Which is Walter, the CEO and chairman of diversity holding company TWG Global. They were already a stakeholder in the Lakers, but they're the majority owners of the Dodgers.
Fair enough.
In other news, major stadiums are continually being rejected to be funded by the cities and the taxpayers in those cities.
Good.
Huge win. I will also applaud this because the city should not have to pay for the stadiums when billionaires own them and make billions off of the sports stadiums and the service
ludicrous.
That said, there is a financial benefit for businesses there, but that should not go on the citizens.
They're going to build the stadium anyway.
Or they're going to move the team. They always threaten to move the team.
Who cares?
So
whatever. Do it.
But in cooler news, the first albatross in a long time has been achieved in the U.S. Open. Golfer Patrick Reed made an albatross during the U.S. Open, which is only the fourth ever in the history of the U.S. Open. An albatross or double eagle is when a golfer completes a hole 3 strokes under its designated par. For example, 2 shots on a par 5.
Or 2 holes in one on a par 4.
That would be one hole in one.
2 holes in one on 2 consecutive par 4s would be 2 under, right? 2 shots on a par 5.
No, it's 3 under.
Yeah, that's
so
what
a hole in one on a par 4 would be 3 under par, which therefore would be an albatross.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, but why would you need 2 holes in one?
You said it was 2 consecutive.
No. It's 2 strokes.
I thought you meant you needed two different. Isn't that what you said? You said you
2
need
shots, 2 hits,
2 separate occasions of 2. That's what you said.
No,
play back the VOD.
No.
Play it back.
An albatross or double eagle is when a golfer completes a hole 3 strokes under its designated par. For example, 2 shots on a par 5.
You said 2 of 2. You said 2 in a row.
No.
You said 2 in a row.
No. An albatross is 3 under par. So a par 5, you make it after 2
times in a row.
2 hits.
That's what he said.
Par 4, you would get an albatross if you made a hole in one.
He said 2 holes
which
in
would
a row.
not be 2
That's
holes
in
in one.
2 holes in a row. He said it.
But let's get into some more serious.
Live JQs happening.
Not JQs, because I know what I said. But now I think it's important we talk about something very serious that's, while seemingly like what some people would call a sport with the most dangerous game in that book of a hunter getting stranded on an island and being hunted by a hunter who got bored of hunting animals and started hunting humans. We are seeing that actually live out today.
And sport relation, it's the LA Stadium. ICE was trying to be there.
Trying to utilize their facilities.
Kick them out. Hey, there's your sports tie-in. And you were saying that maybe they were able to stage there.
There's been conflicting reports. Most of the stuff that I've seen has kind of been on TikTok and stuff, because the general news is not properly reporting about everything that's going on.
It seems like they were kicked out of there. That's what I heard last. And it seems like they're still not operating out of there. There might be like independent.
So the interesting thing with Dodger Stadium, this is an important thing to note, is the actual parking lot is not owned by the Dodgers.
Right.
It's owned by a separate entity.
Okay.
So even if they operate out of the parking lot, the Dodgers aren't necessarily have any control over that as an organization as a whole. But they were hesitant to speak out about it.
Anyway, the whole subject in general is about ICE and their particular presence in Los Angeles. And the fact that even when the protests have somewhat died down, there are still protests that are going on, and there are people that are actively trying to follow and document this kind of stuff happening.
As needs to be done.
There are people being kidnapped in the streets, and there's no 2 ways about it. It's kidnapping.
Yeah, they're not designating that they're officers of the law. They're not saying who they are, and they're not showcasing a warrant. And also, more importantly, they're not telling people where they're being taken.
Yeah, and for all we know, they're going through the pipeline that we've seen happen before, where they're immediately getting shipped out of the country as fast as possible, so no legal process can happen.
Correct.
Which is very un-American.
It's actually against the Constitution and what is written in there for due process.
Yeah, completely against the Constitution. And anyone that even tries to argue that is, in the most technical way, a traitor against the Constitution. And that seems like outlandish to say, but that is the line. There is a line that you have to defend, and anyone that wiggles it is against that. Like, that's the thing. It's, if they're trying to wiggle this line of everyone has due process, like, that is a domino that breaks the entire foundation of what we are about as a country.
Yeah, and there's a reason why it was written as any person as opposed to any citizen. It is any person within the United States has the rights listed here, and due process.
And I think one of the reasons why it says any person is because this is the only country in the entire world where anyone could become a citizen and be fully fledged American.
Correct.
Like it's not here. It is not about your heritage or like where you have your family has laid their roots in the bedrock of this country. It's not about that. It's about, are you willing to defend the Constitution and be what it means to be an American citizen and have the responsibilities that come with that. And one of the responsibilities that come with that is not being complacent when it comes to these threats. Anyway, you continue.
No, and it's an important thing because apparently recent news also came out that I found that showed that the Department of Homeland Security, which employs ICE, has been deputizing bounty hunters in order to fill out their forces. And a lot of that means they're not necessarily properly trained in the ways law enforcement are supposed to operate. There's a million different things that are happening because this is happening all over the country. There are more prominent locations because there's bigger populations, and especially here in Los Angeles, there's a large population in the Latino community and the Hispanic community, and so people are just being targeted. They're not. They were given the right to raid homes without warrants. They were given like too many passes that violate the rights of citizens of the United States and people, period, of the United States.
Yeah.
It's absolutely not okay. People are scared out of their minds. Communities are like talking to their councils about like, what do I do? They're not designated. Are these just people kidnapping people? Like,
yeah, there's no evidence they're masked, so you can't tell who they are. They don't provide documentation like half the times I've seen it recorded. And the problem is, the even bigger problem of the many problems is they're not targeting specific people who they know the names of. They're targeting people who match description and demographic, which is such a wide net and so rife with problems, and we all can see what is happening. And the problem with that, and the problem that tried to get swept under the rug, is that an American citizen can be rounded up and sent out of the country and then laughed off for 2 months trying to be like, it's not that big a deal that one of our own was deported. Like, criminal history or not, that's an American citizen, and it's under American law that they need to be put through the system for those things. That's why it's there.
That's why we have due process, to make sure that we limit the amount of mistakes that are made, period, and that we have proper channels to make sure that people aren't falsely accused, falsely imprisoned, and falsely punished for things they didn't fucking do.
Yeah, and it gets even worse because I'm looking up the bounty hunters thing, and it's like apparently they're being contracted and paid per undocumented immigrant that they bring in. And all these people are hiding who they are.
And there's already reports of plenty of misuse of power from ICE agents themselves and a million other things.
Yeah.
It is a massive problem and it needs to be addressed, and we need to yell from the rooftops about it.
It's a situation where if they're deputizing people, then that is an excuse for other people to work into those forces, not say who they are, get a vest that just says anything on it. They could say anything with no official badging because they're not local law enforcement, and they're not anyone that is providing any information. Right. They have like all these weapons, and they're walking the streets, patrolling and kidnapping people. And like, to be perfectly honest, me if I've tanned a good bit, I tan darker than no. I am not white. Like I could be scooped up if someone just wanted to. That could happen. I mean, you could too. I'm sure that it could happen to anybody. But if they're targeting people of brown depiction,
or anyone who looks different from what is considered the white norm,
yeah, exactly, is just like it's not something that's so crazy. You're like, oh, that doesn't affect me. It's like, I think at this point, everyone knows at least someone that has been affected by it. Someone has in their family that just is gone now. And so that's where these protests come from. And that's where these problems need to be called out. And usually in videos that I've seen of these ICE agents being called out, they run away, which really doesn't seem like official law enforcement behavior. But yeah, it is up to the people.
And there's resources out there. The biggest way you can be of help, period, is contact your senators. This isn't the only issue. This is a major, major issue, of course, and at the forefront of everyone's minds who's been around it and seen it and experienced it. And unfortunately, the news is not properly reporting it in a lot of different ways because it's happening everywhere in the U.S.
Yeah.
LA is prominent because LA is big, it's large, and has prominent community that fits the description. But there are a large population of undocumented immigrants here. That is correct. That is true. There's no arguing that, but that's not the point of the argument. No,
because many of them are on the path to citizenship, which involves them working very hard, paying taxes, and they integrate into the system, which is intentionally slow. And for many reasons, it's slow. It can take up to 20 years to get your citizenship.
Not to mention, most of those people have more proud nationalism for the United States and of it themselves, because they're building up and they want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, because of that, they're going way out of their way to avoid doing anything bad to any person or any business or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
They are here to provide for their family. And the worst thing is they're scared to go to their kids' graduation. They're scared to go to work. I mean, it's absolutely outrageous that people are being targeted trying to go to immigration court to go through the proper channels.
Mm-hmm.
It's not okay what is happening right now all across the U.S.
Yeah. And, it's even one of those situations where you can understand where someone might get this idea of like there shouldn't be so many people that are entering the country illegally. You can relate to that idea. This is so far removed from that conversation to be had where they don't realize that there are people being kidnapped in the streets right now. It's not about like just plugging a hole in a wall, and it's not human is the issue. And that's so against what America is about.
And I hate to be that person, but it draws parallels to stuff that was happening before World War II.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And what was happening in Germany.
I mean, it doesn't even have to go that far. This stuff happens all over the world in general. Like, you don't even just have to compare it to the Nazis. You can compare it to like any kind of state that is apartheid situations or something like that. You've got the relocation of people or the purity that must be maintained. Whereas like the one thing that makes America different that we all need to remember, and I remember because my mom is an immigrant who came to this country. Like, I would not be here if she did not have a path to citizenship to be here, because this is the only country in the world where anyone in the world, well, maybe not right now, but like in its history, anyone in the world can come to America and become an American, pure, 100%. If I go to the UK and apply for citizenship, I'm never going to be British. If I go to France, I'm never going to be French. If I go to any other country, almost any other country, they either don't have a path to become a citizenship there, or even if I do get approved to become a permanent resident there, I will never be that. America is the only place.
And on top of that, you know what America always designates and is so adamant to be called? The land of the free.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, in history, the land of opportunity, the American dream. This is so much against all three of those things that is absurdly un-American.
Yeah. And shutting down the goddamn colleges for international students is so fucking stupid. Because, okay, just in terms of generally,
it literally was setting up for them to be able to raid and then deport them. That's basically what it was.
But not even that. I'm talking like the concept of not allowing other international students to come to our colleges. It's called a brain drain for a reason. We are sucking the intelligence out of other countries because they want to come to our schools. You stop allowing that to happen, we stop getting smarter. We stop having smarter people here. They start having their smart people stay. If you were even a person that was like, America first all the time, we want to win, 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 that's a great strategy to steal their intelligent people. It's just good. And then they come here and they're like, fuck, America's fucking great. Holy shit, look at all this. Then they want to stay. That is literally how you win if you're looking at it as a competition. That's one of the ways to win. That's chess.
There's a reason why we lead in a lot of areas of technology, especially in medical technology as well, is because we draw people into those schools and get the greatest minds in the world.
That's why we can lag behind in high school intelligence scores and like academic scores and still come out on top in terms of all our research institutions and all of our colleges, because we get everybody wants to come here. Be smarter. If you're going to be dumb about other things, be smart about this. Anyway, that's a whole nother subject entirely.
Oh yeah.
It's like if you actually believed in the shit that was causing all these races to happen in the first place, you're not thinking it through because you're not thinking what the long game actually is about. If you were thinking this way, it's like if you're going to play the game that you're playing, play it smarter than you're playing it. And if that's the only reason that you can listen to reason, listen to that. Think of your greed. Think about it greedily. Be greedy about it. That's also part of being American. You be a little greedy about it. You can still win. And it involves taking all the good people from all the other countries. Then you like, yeah, they're all Americans now. Yeah, they're Americans. Oh, they're working really hard. All your hard workers are coming over here. Mwahaha, mwahaha. You can think of it that way. And then you're winning every day. Or you can do what's happening now.
And nobody wants to come here. Yeah. Vegas is empty. For the first time in years, people aren't going there. There's a bunch of places tourists aren't going to. Not only that, the government is trying to pass a law to sell a whole bunch of public land. So get into that.
To who? Who's going to buy it?
Oh, people are going to tear it apart.
That belongs to the American people. It belongs to the people.
Veterans are speaking up because this is not the America they fought for.
Yeah. And it's the thing is like conservative, liberal, everyone loves the parks. Everyone loves the national parks.
You go fishing?
You go fishing? You love the park. You go out in the woods. You love the parks. You love the freedom of just being in this space.
You like the Grand Canyon. You like Yellowstone National Park. You like being able to explore and ski on mountains or...
Like, America is one of the most beautiful countries in the world. Like, that should outrage you. Imagine if someone tried to sell the Grand Canyon. Aren't you pissed?
Now all of a sudden it's completely corporatized. You've got billboards everywhere. You have to pay $3,000 to stay in a hotel that has carved into the Grand Canyon and ruined the natural landscape.
People aren't being smart.
No. And then it's covered in trash too, because they don't want to pay people to clean it up or a million other things.
Yeah, it's not even like all the arguments being made are not even the right arguments to begin with. It's like, this is logical. This is all very logical. And if you're not thinking about it in this way, then what are you thinking about? Because the only other alternative is that it's evil for the detriment of this country, for the benefit of enemies out there, for everyone else to pick this great country that we have apart. That's the only other reason, because the decisions that get made that lead to the things happening that they are only to weaken what this country represents.
You want to talk about destroying natural wonders for natural resources? Everything in the U.S. Just picture this. Do you know what a strip mine is?
I do. Yeah.
Now put that everywhere you see beauty, forests, and everything else.
God, imagine strip mining the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
If they found like there was lithium deposits in the Grand Canyon.
Or oil.
Oh, there's oil down there. Well, let's put some oil wells. That'll be beautiful. It's like,
not to mention the dangers of destabilizing the earth.
There are so many empty parcels of land in Oklahoma, and not even Oklahoma, like still for sale, like across the Midwest, so much land that people could buy that aren't national parks. Buy those.
Yeah.
Buy those. Buy them. If you want land, buy those. They're for sale. Why is the national parks gotta be for sale? Why? Roosevelt would crawl out of the grave and
get shot 3 times, still give a speech.
Strangle everyone that made these decisions.
Yes.
And then roll over and die, but with his eyes open to watch.
And at this time, he'd be telling you to shout from the rooftops. It's no longer speak softly and carry a big stick. It's yell and fucking fight for the America, the beautiful, for the America that it should be.
Mm-hmm. Which is also one of the great reasons why the Second Amendment exists. That's the big stick. Some people forget that. That's also what makes America different. And sure, it's a talking point between both sides, but sometimes when you get to this point in the conversation, you start to realize, like, oh wait, there's a reason why that one exists. I get it.
Contact your senators. Mm-hmm. Email, call, everything, every day. Because what is happening should not be allowed to continue, to progress towards the direction it is heading. We need to stand up for each other and for this place and the Constitution.
That's what being American is all about. And sports.
I dare you to compete to get a response from senators to stop this bullshit.
I think there should be a reset button where everyone is out. Like, if enough people are like, hey, let's do the reset. You don't even need like another party. You just be like, hey, can we all agree that we should just reset everything, and everyone's out. They're not allowed to run ever again. and then we just have to get new. We have to get new people.
It's like the 2/3 vote that can overturn the president. Why can't the citizens that voted somebody in office all of a sudden change their mind and have a 2/3 vote to be like, oh, let's remove them? Now.
that is 100%.
Yeah,
that is actually already a thing that can happen.
Make that happen.
Yeah,
but that's gonna do it for this episode. Please contact your senator. I'm not gonna plug anything else. There's far more important things going on in the world right now that we need to speak up for, and that's the most important. Fight for the Constitution, use your words, and make your representatives accountable to listen to who they're supposed to represent. Mm-hmm. And it starts with phone calls and emails.
You know what else doesn't make any sense to me?
What?
Like, Republicans hate California for some stupid reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a communist hellscape, right?
That is the third largest economy in the world, but
and it also has more conservative people than almost any other state in it. Like, there's such a large population in California that not only is like, yeah, there's tons of liberal people. There's so many conservatives here in this state that also love California. And I think, like, aren't they mad that their state constantly gets shat on, or are they still just blaming, like, oh, it's the other side they're really mad at? It's like, no, that is no. They would be happy if California just sank into the ocean for some reason. And I'm from Ohio.
I know. Apparently, that's an insult for the current generation. It's like, oh, that's so Ohio.
Oh, which is fine. Like, look, Ohio has its downsides too. So does California.
So does California.
So does most of the states. The whole thing is like, we're stronger together.
Yes.
Isn't that the thing?
That's what is supposed to happen in government.
At least Ohio's not one of the welfare states. Ohio actually earns its keep.
It does contribute.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Not many do.
I know.
Not many in a certain area do.
I've seen the stats.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Anyway.
Bye.